RTI, Response to Intervention by Jamie Gentry. What is RTI? Did your school call and ask you to come join them for an RTI meeting and you have no idea what RTI is? RTI is the current model for screening students and using their response to intervention as a data source to facilitate identifying students with special needs. RTI provides a universal screening so that educators can identify students with potential learning or behavior problems and can then implement research-based practices. In RTI, teachers can monitor students' academic or behavioral responses and use the response data as a means of determining success. The process of RTI helps to identify students with learning disabilities by replacing discrepancy criteria and using students' response to intervention as part of the decision-making process. So, how is this different from in the past? Older models ran off the wait to fail model, which used IQ achievement assessments to identify struggling students. But now we look for prevention. We know that if we have early intervention, then we can stop students and target them so that we are not waiting for them to fail. In the reauthorization of IDEA, RTI was recommended to be provided as a means of preventing learning and behavior difficulties. Vaughn and Boss 2015 says that there has been a 200% increase of students identified with learning disabilities since they began to use the model. So students are being identified early through the RTI process and provided the appropriate interventions that more students are able to respond to them. There are 4 key components of RTI. Number 1. RTI must implement high-quality, research-based instruction matched to the needs of students throughout all of the multi-tier levels of support. Teachers should not be teaching what they think the students should know or what they think will work, but we must use instructional programs, materials, and practices based on the best research available. Number 2. RTI provides universal screening to identify students at risk and monitor students' learning over time to determine their level and rate of performance for ongoing decision-making. So this is when teachers look to see if students are progressing towards meeting the goals and benchmarks compared to others in the classroom and grade level. 3. Provide interventions of increasing intensity when students continue to struggle. This could look like reducing group size, increasing time of intervention, and tailoring the intervention to better meet the instructional needs of students. Or the teacher might restructure or regroup the students. 4. Make important educational decisions based on data. Teachers must use students' responses to determine what instructional interventions to use, the intensity of the intervention, time, group size, and duration of the interventions. That's what makes RTI so successful, its response to data. There is a 3-tier model of RTI, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Tier 1, classroom instruction. This intervention is when the instruction is the instruction that is provided to the whole class. It's the instruction through the curriculum. The general education teacher provides this instruction to all students in his or her class. Tier 2, intervention. The students in Tier 2 are those students who are struggling or not making adequate progress in Tier 1. Tier 2 intervention is still considered the general education classroom, but done in small groups with the teacher. The intervention is intended to reinforce the concepts or skills taught in Tier 1. Tier 3, intervention. This is for students who continue to struggle or do not make progress after Tier 2 interventions. Many students respond to Tier 1 and Tier 2 interventions, but those who do not respond participate in Tier 3 interventions, which are provided for a longer period of time. Materials might be changed or adjusted. In Tier 3, students receive explicit instruction in small groups of 2 to 3 or individually. In some RTI models, Tier 3 may be special education, in others it may be Tier 4. The key to the 3-tier model of RTI is to provide effective instruction early to ensure that students are provided with the resources and support that they need to become proficient learners. Parents. In the same way that schools have checked children's vision for years to screen students for potential problems, screening for math and reading problems helps identify students who need treatment. By Vaughn and Boss, 2015. So, through monitoring, screening, progress monitoring, and effective research-based interventions, every student will get the help that they need and require to learn.